Welcome to the Cardboard Crash Course. Let's learn how to play Uno Golf. Start by shuffling the draw deck and placing it in the center of the table, dealing 6 cards to each player. Then flip over the top card of the draw pile to make a face-up discard pile. If that card turned over was an action card, like this draw 2 card here, flip it over until you have a number card as the top of the discard pile. Without looking at their own cards, players will arrange their cards in a 2x3 grid as shown here in front of them. Then each player will take one of the cards of their choice and flip it face up. The player to the left of the dealer goes first, and then play will continue clockwise one turn at a time. On your turn, you may either take the top card of the discard pile that's showing, or draw a card from the draw pile. If you choose to draw a card from the draw pile, take a look at that card in secret and choose whether to replace a card in your grid with this card or not. If you choose a card that's face up, you'll place it face up in the discard pile. But if you choose a card that's face down, you'll first flip it face up and then place it in the discard pile for everyone to see. Wherever you chose to discard the card from, you'll place the new card face up into that spot. If you instead drew the card from the draw pile and you did not want to replace any of the cards in your grid with this new card, you would simply discard the new card face up and then flip one of the cards in your grid face up as well. Now let's say instead of drawing from the draw pile, you had instead drawn the top card from the discard pile, then you do not have a choice. You have to replace one of your cards in your grid with this card. You would take one of the cards in your grid and place it face up in the discard pile, replacing that card with the new card. Remember, in the game of golf, you actually like lower scores. So us placing that 0 in the discard pile will prove useful to our next player. Play will continue like this one turn at a time, with each player either drawing the top card from the discard pile or the top card of the draw pile, replacing one of the cards in their grid with them. This will continue until one player either plays an action card or clears a column. Let's look at what clearing a column looks like now. If, after a player chooses to either draw from the draw or discard pile and replaces a card in their grid with the new card they just drew, a single column is showing 2 face-up cards of either the same number or color, or both as shown here. That player will take both of those cards and place them into the discard pile in any order that they'd like, clearing their grid of that column. Eventually during play, all of one player's cards will be turned face up for any variety of reasons. As soon as this happens, the round is over. As soon as all of one player's cards are face up, all other players will flip all of their face down cards face up as well. If this end of the round effect creates any columns that share 2 identical colors or numbers, they may be cleared now. We will now find each player's total score by adding up all of the points shown on each card. The player then, with the fewest points in front of them, wins the hand. You'll record each player's score for that hand on a piece of paper now. You'll then collect all of the cards on the table, reshuffle them into a new draw pile, dealing 6 out to each player and starting the next hand. The player who won the previous hand will be the first player in this new second hand. Continue playing this way until you've played a total of 9 hands. The player with the lowest score at the end of those 9 hands wins the game. Now I am forgetting to tell you a couple important things, and that's how to play action cards like the classic Uno reverse, as well as what happens when you don't call out Uno. Action cards, like any other cards, can be placed into your grid and replace other cards from your grid like normal. They also have a number total shown on the card when counting the points that they're worth towards your hand at the end of a round. Now instead of normal Uno, where action cards are played to be activated, instead you'll activate the action card that's on the top of the discard pile if there is one at the end of your turn. The reverse action card is simple. Instead of moving clockwise, we'll switch the turn of play to move counterclockwise instead. Also simple, the skip action card skips the next player's turn. Now the draw 2 card is a little special, and that makes the next player in turn order draw 2 cards from the top of the deck and add them to their grid face down to create a new column. The player that just drew 2 cards also loses their turn. There is also a double draw 2 in the deck, worth an astounding 22 points. The player who plays this card gets 2 options. They can either select any 2 players to draw 2 cards from the draw pile and add it to their grid as a new column face down, or they can choose 1 player to draw 4 cards from the draw pile and add it to their grid as 2 new columns face down. In either case, during a double draw 2, no one's turn is skipped, and play continues as normal. Now let's talk about calling Uno. When you only have a single face-down card left in your grid, you have to call Uno to alert the other players you're about to end the round. However, if you forget and someone else calls Uno before you, you must add the top 2 cards of the draw pile to your grid as a new column. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to learn another cool Uno variant, check out Uno99 on the screen now. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time on the Cardboard Crash Course.